What's up, y'all? Mason here, Cardinal. Wanted to give you guys a rundown of some changes from ROCAs. Just because I have a brand new ROCA, which is this guy's brand new. I'm actually replacing my old CNA 01 machine. They have little cute little signifiers. This is to this unit here. And we had CNA 01, but they've had to replace it because it was becoming so old and out of date that they had to like machine parts to replace things that were breaking on it. So after being down for a long time, what they ended up doing is just sending me a new unit. And obviously I've been a good customer for them for a long time, and you know, with a very old machine, and it was just time to probably just do a complete refresh. So I want to do a video of breaking it down, not literally breaking it down, but showing you guys how these machines are different, the innovations that they've made over the years, and just how much better this machine is compared to this one. And not even from a just technological standpoint, but just like the improvements and things that they've made. Let's lift up the lids here and show you guys under the hood. So this is the old machine. The old machine here. Got a lot of different stuff going on compared to the new machine, which is over here. This one has black interior, so that's a change. It also has like a shinier finish to it. You can probably maybe see it here. I know the lighting's not great back here, but this one has like a shiny, and this is like a matte finish on this one. So, but otherwise, the internal is not that much different to compare to this one. If you don't know the segments of the machine, this is the pump that kind of like uses, it creates the suction for the pneumatic tubes with the little pistons on the bottom. This little guy. This guy drops down and picks up cards. Kind of has like that little sound. And that's the tube work and the duct work to make it do its thing. So all that stuff is pretty relatively standard. My CNA machine was actually so old. This was like a new renovation to it. It did not have anything like this in the back. It was kind of just like haphazard and really gross looking until they like came out with this like shelf design to put all this stuff on. So, but it was like a way older than even this version. So, otherwise, this machine is pretty much identical from like the rail standpoint, how it basically operates. This one does have different types of switches on them. These switches back here, these have some sort of like laser. So everything on this machine is laser focused, or laser uses lasers to measure with, as opposed to this one that does not use lasers of any kind. So it's kind of like a weirder setup for that. They also do have these little clips right here. This kind of senses that the tray is input. I'd take it out, but these actually are in the middle of a sort, and I don't want to mess it up. So all those are kind of like the same kind of thing. They do have like kind of like newer, up-to-date switches down on the inside here. But those are all kind of like the same kind of stuff. This machine, unfortunately, cannot operate with the lid open. This one can. It's kind of a bummer because I like to be able to watch the machine and you know, the videos and stuff I've done of getting footage of the machines running is kind of impossible with this machine because it doesn't work with the lid open, which is a bummer. But so this one has some innovations that this one does not. If you kind of look at this this part here, this is the piston that picks up the card with, and you know, pneumatically picks things up and down. This is the camera. So this is the old setup with the old camera. This is just a regular old camera that is looking. It senses a card in a stack. The computer identifies it, and then it'll kind of like do a little stutter step to like kind of like go over it, take a picture, and then go back to the piston so it can do its thing. This one has a little additional thing here. This is an ionizer, which is a fancy word, or a fancy way of saying it's just remove static cling. Paper, and it's basically like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This is one of the reasons why the standard machines weren't able to do Yu-Gi-Oh cards, is because the static that would build up on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which are made of like a cotton material as opposed to like paper, they stick together, and it makes it very difficult for this machine to move them around. So this ionizer is something that they've had to use as well on standard machines now. So all standard machines should I think have this, where it kind of dissipates the clinginess between cards when it goes to pick it up. It does kind of like bend the card down this way, very, very lightly, not super crazy, just enough to kind of like separate it out. It'll kind of like do like a little cupping motion like that to kind of like separate the cards out. But this ionizer should make that an easier task, and when it does some new features that they have rolled out, which I'll talk about in a second, it makes separating cards and kind of like being able to determine what's what and picking up one at a time a lot easier. So that's this machine. So the new features that it has, it can now do, oh man, what is it called? I think it's called sort to ship, I think is what it is. Basically, you do a pull list. You load them in here, and then you have different stacks of cards over here. And let me see if I have those cards. I might even have them. Let me kind of show you. These little cards right here have like a little order end, and if there's an error, you can put that kind of blocker in here. So you kind of like make little stacks of these here in the back. And what this machine will do, it'll actually put the orders from your pull list, and it will create the orders into shipping bundles for you. So you don't have to worry about like running around with a bunch of invoices or anything like that at the same time. This machine will actually stack all the orders as they need to be in order. So you can just flip through them. It'll say order end, and then it'll start another one whenever you go through it, and then you can just ship it really, really quickly that way. And it'll make sure that if there's an error or anything like that, or if it has a discrepancy or anything like that, it's requiring a resolution. So like it even says on this error card. Sorry it's so dark with the light as well. This marks a wrong or a missing card requiring resolution. So if you have this in your orders, it'll say, hey, you were missing a card or something. Maybe it was not identified correctly or whatever on their back end, to make it a little bit easier to like send out, like if you need to refund a card or something like that, or maybe you had a discrepancy, an error, you can have this card be in that little block. So super cool little feature. I have not done it yet because I just got this machine, a week or two ago at this point. So I have not busted these out and tried to run that yet, but it does sound like a pretty good idea and like a really cool feature that just gives you additional functionality to these machines that, again, taking out the steps that maybe humans don't have to do necessarily. If you can automate it, let's automate it, right? And I think that's an innovation that I really like ROCA in general for, is that they're always trying to do up-to-date stuff and new ways of how this machine can help you do more. So I always love that about ROCA, and they're always really good about taking feedback and things like that. So I've always been really happy with them about that stuff. Something else that is promising that I would love to see, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. There's this ionizer on here now. So what I would love to see out of the standard machine, if they would be able to come up with a solution to maybe have a Yu-Gi-Oh size tray. You see how it's just bolted down in there? It's just bolted with a couple screws. If I would be able to take this out and put in a Yu-Gi-Oh tray with those Yu-Gi-Oh sized slots, now that I have this ionizer on here, that should hopefully fix those clingy issues, or static cling issues. I would love for this machine to be versatile enough to run Yu-Gi-Oh cards in it as well. Sure, it would take some modifications. It'd have to be in the back end to say, hey, the positioning is going to be changed on this machine to be able to operate that way. It'll be a big lift on the back end to try to get that working. But I figure once they got it working and we're able to do it, in theory, right, you can have this one single machine be able to do both just by swapping out the tray. That's wishful thinking, but I would love that to be the case, and if they could figure out a way to do that. I don't know how, but that's the type of innovation and stuff that I would love to see going forward out of ROCA, just to see what new stuff we can come up with to make it even more versatile to me. I would love to be able to run Yu-Gi-Oh in a standard machine, and it would be, I would think, a lot more easier on them to just manufacture the same machine and just to be able to swap out certain stuff. So a lot of good innovations coming out of this machine, a lot of things that they've improved upon, modernized, stuff like that. ROCA still is the best machine on the market, absolutely bar none, as far as like card sorting. There is no comparison as far as what it's able to do for you. There's other machines that do stuff a lot faster, But as far as doing alphabetical sorts and adding things to your inventory, ROCA is the absolute best machine. Oh, it also has antennas back here. If you have issues with plugging it in directly, you can have these Wi-Fi antennas, which this machine does not have those. So hopefully a little bit better and maybe even faster pickup as far as data goes, so it can like identify cards and hopefully not have as many issues with that going forward, because that is a major issue. Being able to look up a card fast enough, identify a card fast enough by the time it has to figure out where it's going to go and place it in the trays here. That's really is a step and a feat in itself that's able to do that so quickly. So thank you TCGPlayer for the new machine. I appreciate you guys sending those over. It's really, really cool to see the innovations and the new stuff. And oh, I was gonna say, as far as like speed wise, this machine is actually, I thought it would maybe be a little bit quicker. It is not. It's not any much quicker, but it makes sense because it's still doing the same thing, same functions. It's not like any sort of speed innovations that they can really do. As fast as it is as fast as it is, other than making the arm move faster, which I don't know it can, because it's pretty fast as it is. You don't want to have this thing just whipping around like crazy, because that's how you get cards damaged, and kind of if something releases or something gums up or a stack gets wonky or something like that, you'll just make a big disaster. So cool little machine, these ROCAs. If you are interested in them, I still think they are the best on the market. If you have the input, or you need the throughput enough to justify it existing and having that be your machine, absolutely, I think this is pound for pound, dollar per dollar, the best use that you can get if you want something that is fully sorting your cards. There are other options out there we can talk about, and I will probably talk about it soon, but for now, I just want to show the difference between the two ROCAs and what the innovations were. But appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.